welcome to Bailey Price Media.
Bailey, who actually played the game and knows more football than you will ever forget, know, or understand.
Man, shout out to Bailey Price Media. I am so excited to see what you're going to do with this channel. Everybody like, subscribe, comment, follow Bailey's journey. This is going to be real good. I'm excited for you, brother.
Man, what's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to Bailey Price Media Live. Today we got a huge show. 8-year NFL veteran Tank Johnson joins us. Former Bears D tackle. Caleb Williams. He had struggled, I would say, in his performance against the Texans in Week 2. The Bears dropped to 1-1, and CJ Stroud at the end of after the game, attempted to give him some advice, and Caleb, kind of shrugged it off a little bit. And so Tank and I are going to kind of break down Caleb's performance after Week 2, and we're going to break down the Bears offense. Bill Belichick had some comments about the Bears offense. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Justin Fields being 2-0 with the Steelers, and then we'll talk about the Apple Cup at the end. Tank played at the University of Washington. Washington State played the Apple Cup, at a neutral site in CenturyLink Field, or they call it Lumen Field now. And Washington State ended up pulling that game out, so we're going to talk about that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in 8-year NFL veteran, former Bears defensive tackle, Washington Huskies alum, Tank Johnson. Welcome to the show. How you doing, brother?
Good, brother. Happy to be here as always. Let's do it.
No doubt. Let's do it. So let's dive right into it. So the Bears took on the Texans, and I think it was a real struggle for the Bears, especially on offense. What are your thoughts just of that game before we get into it? What are your thoughts of Caleb's Week 2 performance?
Man, I would have thought Caleb would have got up for this game, been excited to play against a young, just a young quarterback in the league who kind of did what he's trying to do. Mm-hmm. So I thought that we would have seen kind of like the best version of Caleb so far in this game. But, man, him and his O-line just weren't on the same page.
Yeah, no doubt. And after watching Caleb and the Bears Week 1 against the Titans, I was very concerned because the Titans defense is good, but they're not great. And Caleb really seemed to struggle. So I was like, oh boy, headed to Houston to take on CJ. Like that's a tough game. And so let's dive right into it. After that game, CJ Stroud attempted to give Caleb some advice. He told him to stop taking those hits because Caleb was taking a lot of hits in that game. And Caleb had an interesting response. Just take a listen here.
Yeah. Hey, keep going. Stop taking those hits. Yeah, I know. Hey, learn from those mistakes, and everything that you got, bro, is in you already, bro. You're gonna be a hell of a player in this league. Yeah. All right, boy. Appreciate it. For sure.
Tank, just what are your thoughts of that? What is your reaction to that?
I think the media will definitely make more out of it than what it is. I think, as far as Caleb goes, he doesn't really know the rhythm of, when there's, tons of cameras on you after the game in the NFL. Is his first statement the only statement to save time? Or is, do you supposed to actually give genuine, long, drawn-out information there? And I think he got caught in between, like, just a quick stay healthy, see you later, and, real deep advice.
Yeah, it's interesting. Coach JB had a field day with this morning, and he kind of seemed to point out Caleb's lack of making eye contact with CJ. And I think he has a point there. It's tough. It's tough because I see what you're saying as the media can kind of pull this away and whatever. But I also see JB's points where it seems to be, a little bit of arrogance from Caleb. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Sorry, you hear me? Sorry. One sec. We'll have Tank go ahead and rejoin. But, Coach JB, this morning really had a field day with this and kind of had the take of, kind of a prima donna type attitude. You can't hear me? You still can't hear me? One sec. Give me 1 sec to fix this. But JB kind of had the take of, hey, like Caleb was not making eye contact, and that Caleb's not making eye contact and really paying attention to him. And CJ has think about this. CJ Stroud brought the Texans as a rookie to the playoffs. Like he's no joke now. So for Caleb to not completely take it seriously, let's see if we got Tank back. Tank, you hear me? I can't hear you, unfortunately. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Mute. Tank will join back in a minute, but for those listening, what are your thoughts about that? What are your thoughts of that? Why when you look at this, let's replay this here. You notice how he's not looking at him. He's just kind of he's got the ear. Yeah, you might not be able to hear, but you watch CJ. CJ's staring him dead in the eyes. He's like, "Hey, listen, I'm trying to tell you some important shit here." You know what I'm saying? It's a tough discussion here. We got you now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, there we go.
Perfect.
All right, so let's get back into it. We were kind of talking about, kind of JB's take and, how Caleb might come across as arrogant or, not trying to really take the advice from CJ, who, yeah, he's young just like Caleb, but he's made the playoffs. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, CJ has accomplished a lot early in this league. And I think, but in Caleb's defense, I mean, he just took a beating. He just took a serious beating. And I felt like he just wanted to get into some cold tub, get into some, get some stuff, get his uniform off because, man, that was embarrassing. That was literally like every time he dropped back, he was running for his life.
Yeah. And let's kind of dive into this here. So Bill Belichick had some interesting comments about the Bears offense. He said when asked about the Bears offensive line, Bill Belichick takes shots at Ryan Poles' style of roster construction and the team's play calling. Take a listen here.
Well, I think this is really an issue for Chicago just in terms of the overall team construction, like the way they decided to do it. You look at a team like Detroit in their division, and Detroit's got three really good linemen with Sewell, Ragnow, and Decker, and those guys give generally golf a lot of protection. The Bears have really put their resources into a lot of money, a lot of draft choices into receivers, but they've had problems on their offensive line, and it doesn't really look like that's gotten much better. Whether D'Amico brings it or doesn't bring it, they had trouble with a 4-man rush, a 5-man rush, and just single blocks up there have been a problem for him. So,
Tank, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, listen, when coach sees it, coach calls it out, man. I mean, it's true. I mean, Poles, he's building this roster as if you it's like 7-on-7. You can just do it all from the outside and the outskirts, and you just can't do that. You really got to put some effort into the trenches. And the one thing about offensive line and defensive line is that you don't quite know how they're gonna like play together under live bullets and blitzes and stuff. But you want to start to like draft a certain type of guy, nasty, mean guys that work better together. And that's important because we haven't done crap on the line, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Let me ask you, headed into your game next week against the Colts, what are you looking to see out of Caleb? Because, I mean, first 2 weeks he seemed to struggle, really seemed to struggle. The offensive line's obviously not playing its best. But what are you looking to see out of Caleb as they take on the Colts?
The one thing I want to see from Caleb is command of the offense, right? Like anytime, like I always say, if you're a generational player, learning the offense, learning the blitz protections, that's easy. That's basic stuff so that you can let your abilities shine through that. I want to see him have a good grip. I want to see him say, hey, check to a slant over here or protection. You guys go right, running back, pick up the edge guy, and I want him to be right. That's what I want to see from Caleb. I want to see like total command of the offense, and everything else I don't even care about. I just want to see him like orchestrate it like a real conductor.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And they're taking on AR5 and the Colts, Anthony Richardson, who it's ironic. JB's been talking about this in his shows for weeks, years even, that quarterback play is down in the NFL. I mean, let's talk about those quarterback matchups. Caleb Williams versus Anthony Richardson. Just kind of break that down. We've seen struggling quarterbacks. I don't know what your take is on Anthony Richardson, but, kind of break down that matchup.
I don't see very much of Anthony Richardson. I mean, he's a coach player. I'm more inclined to watch the Bears, but at the same time, he's a young, talented guy. He was out last year with a shoulder injury. Didn't affect his throwing shoulder, but listen, they say he's a tough guy, and his teammates look up to him, and he has command of that organization. And when you're watching Caleb, he's getting like a lot of different examples of what his situation could be in the near future, right? When those guys look back at you in the huddle and they respect you, and you guys are able to go out there and make a difference, game in, game out. But I think this is going to be two inexperienced quarterbacks, one more so than the other, going at it, just trying to get a win, man. That's how I see this game being on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is probably going to be a defensive battle. I mean, we haven't seen much from AR5, to be honest with you. The Colts lost to a Jordan Loveless Green Bay Packers last week. It was a run heavy. I think Josh Jacobs had like 150 and Taylor, I believe, had 100 yards. We're going to see. If I were betting that game, I'd bet the under. Now let me ask you, let's move on to this topic. I know this is early. This is early for me to say this. Are you out on Caleb Williams yet? Are you done? Are you done off? Like, are you off that train yet or no?
Well, here's the thing: is that I was never really too excited about him coming. So, like, as far as everything that I said, let's talk about what I said in the spring. I said his natural default for scrambling is running backwards. Okay, that's proven to be true. I said he thinks he's going to make plays on the defensive ends and throw to wide open receivers. That's proven to be the case this year. And so everything I didn't like about him coming out of college, it's proven to be correct. Again, as a Bears fan, we have to support our team, and we can't be completely off of him or else the season's gone with 16 more games left. So I'm rooting for the kid, but golly, I just don't see very much upside to what's happening right now.
Yeah, I know. And you and me both. My take in the offseason was, you've built this with Justin Fields. You've kind of gone through the trials and tribulations without having the weaponry that they brought in for Caleb. Had they had kept Justin and brought in the weaponry, I think it may look a little bit different than it's looking right now. If we look at the stats, Justin Fields obviously is 2-0 with the Steelers, but I mean, both quarterbacks' numbers are not impressive at all. Just to say the least, Justin has one, passing touchdown. That's it. Both QBRs are not great. This is the thing. What are your thoughts on that?
This is okay. I believe deeply in the football gods. I believe strongly and passionately in football gods, and this is just an example of the football gods doing their stuff. Think about it. I mean, Justin Fields going out there playing like crap, but squeaking out 2 victories. And Caleb Williams is out here really struggling on this side. It's like they let go of something they had so much equity in Justin Fields. And the little bit of equity that they had in him is paying off for another team now. And they got the newer and the shinier object. And they're learning quickly that you just cannot always go to the new shiny object because it may not work as good. So there was a lot of details and evidence to stick with Justin Fields. And I'm not going to lie, like, that was a tough decision, but just to go for the new shinier toy we're learning,
I'm with you on that football gods. Like, football karma is real. Like, goddamn. And let's be real. The Steelers don't look great on offense, but fuck, they're winning. Like, and I think it looks like they're going to roll with Fields again this week. And I think eventually they probably will throw Russ in there, but if Fields keeps winning, I think Tomlin's going to roll with it. And I'm like, when I found out that Justin was getting traded to the Steelers, I was like, fuck. Out of all the damn teams you could have gone to, that is one of the like that's a great spot for him. Like it really is.
Yeah, I mean, a good place to get some great tutelage, be able to, get into an organization that knows what the hell they're doing. That's great. But I mean, golly, how about Miami has thrown a monkey wrench with Tua Tagovailoa going out? Man, this is like that's a real viable spot down there in Miami. And you got Justin Fields and you got Russell sitting in the same offense with Miami needing a quarterback. Like, man, this NFL season is young, but it's getting very interesting.
Do you ever think that Justin Fields looked at both coaches and said, I think I would have to pick Tomlin in that case? Like, I mean, in terms of organization, just everything. I think. Would you agree with that?
I mean, you look at those two situations and you think about lifestyle. What do I want? Do I want to be in the league in 5 years, or do I want to be another cautionary tale? So go to Tomlin in Pittsburgh. Get a couple of overcast days in your life. Sunshine every day ain't good for everybody.
Yeah, no doubt. Man, well, we'll obviously touch on this topic. Should the Bears have kept Justin Fields? It's going to be a huge question until or if Caleb really has real success on the field in the regular season. But we'll talk about this in the future. Let's move forward here. Let's go to college. You're Washington Huskies, the Apple Cup. This is an interesting game. Going into it, go Dogs. It's an interesting game going into it. Washington's obviously, completely overhauled. You got Jed Fish, new quarterback Will Rogers from Mississippi State. Just a lot of different pieces out there now because Penix, Dunze, all these cats are in the NFL now. A lot of different pieces in the offensive line, at least for the most part. And Washington ended up. I'd say Washington laid an egg in this one. Like it was, I didn't see anything from Carson Bruner, who's someone I played against in high school and know very well. I just didn't see it from Washington. My dad called me after the game. He's like, "What the fuck's going on with what?" Like, he was not happy. Like, what are your thoughts about this game? Washington State's obviously got an offense that can score or figure it out. Their quarterback he figures it out, man. He's pretty athletic. He's all right. What are your thoughts on this game?
Well, listen, man. I think we had to know that Washington was going to have to. They were going to have a little bit of a down year and a step back as a program with new AD, new head coach, new talent on the field. So I think when they win those early games and no matter who they're against, you start to kind of believe in oh man, maybe we're going to be better than anticipated this year. And then when we go out there and we play like a young team, inexperienced, penalties, just turning the ball over, all those things that are the signs of a young team. And I think it's a reset in all of the Husky fans' expectations to understand who we were going to be this year. But, it's more about commitment to each other, commitment to the cause, those type of things, playing fast on defense, not turning the ball over on offense. I'm not really judging them on wins and losses this year.
Right. Are you – here's what social media is crazy. Every Husky fan I read on Twitter is out on Jed Fish already. I'm like, slow the fuck down.
Yeah.
Like, obviously he's getting a lot of heat for that fourth down call. What are your thoughts on Jed Fish?
Listen, man, that damn option into the boundary. Oh man, listen, I don't know who makes that call. It wasn't a good call for me. I would have definitely went more of a dive belly, tackling our running back in 2 yards is tough to do. Coach Fish, listen, he's working on a hodgepodge program right now. He's got half his players from U of A, half the leftover players from Washington last year. I don't envy his position because, the cabinets were bare, and he's at a very proud program where they're expected to at least put out good showings every weekend. So I hope he gets it together sooner than later, but I don't envy his position.
Yeah, and he was asked about this fourth down call in a press conference and had this to say. Take a listen.
We had a chance. We didn't execute the play. Told the team last year it was 4th and 1 with 1:15 left on the -29, and the 11-0 Washington team against the 5-6 Washington State team, and they converted a reverse. A year later, it's 4th and 1 with a minute 12 with a 24-19 game, and we don't convert on an option play. It happens. If the reverse doesn't convert, Washington State wins last year 24-21. So in our case, the option play didn't convert, and we didn't execute the play. And if we executed the play, it would have converted.
What are your thoughts on that?
It was a word salad, man. It was a word salad of a bunch of shit I didn't understand. I mean, look, man, it doesn't, that word salad does not help the call, man. It just seemed like they did so much to get so little. And, but just prior to that, you had the receiver catch the drag across the middle and just kind of like not even make an effort for the pylon. He just got pushed on out of bounds. And that was the play that, really irked my group chat. But like still, Coach Fish, I mean, fuck, what are you going to do? Yell at the guy? If you yell at him, he might transfer.
Fuck, yeah, you're right about that shit. Oh my God. Yeah, that's hilarious. But yeah, another thing that I think people are talking about is Jedd Fisch and play calling. Do you think Jedd Fisch should give up play calling?
I mean, I do. I think, listen, man, you got an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and you're supposed to be just like the tiebreaker. It's like if two coaches want to do this play, Coach Fish, you're the tiebreaker. That way, you get the final say on what the play looks like. I mean, it's pure and simple. But having those play calling duty, I don't know, man. I just don't see what perspective he's calling plays from, because, golly, that's just not a smart play.
Yeah, and unfortunate ending. Yeah, that play call frustrated many, including myself. I'm sure it did you at times. It is what it is. Washington takes on Northwestern next week. I've watched a little bit of Northwestern. I watched them take on Duke in a low-scoring rain game. What are your thoughts in this matchup? What are you looking to see out of Washington? Improvements from last week, and what are their keys to victory against Northwestern?
Gosh, Northwestern is basically the Stanford of the Big Ten. They're just kind of that, tough, not going to beat themselves with mistakes type of program who, you're going to have to beat them, and I think Washington, they just make far too many penalties right now to really compete with a program like Northwestern, although they're kind of going through a little bit of a changeover themselves. I think this could, check out to be a game with, plus 2 or 3 turnovers. It's going to be cold, wet out there, ugly. Just a Seattle game, but this is going to like formulate the matchups for the future. In the Big Ten, Washington, Northwestern. Hopefully, it's a classic, and I'm looking. I think Washington could win at home, but Northwestern's way too sound fundamentally. So I'm still going with my Dogs.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like, this is the thing. Hearing Washington take on Northwest, that's just so weird. These matchups are crazy. Like, the new conference, all this shit is. I'm like, there's going to be some games where we look and we're like, huh? You would never thought of that. You know what I mean?
The matchups are wild, bro. Like, even the Apple Cup, like week 3 of the season, is just like, what are we doing?
I mean, I'm glad that they're doing that still. I'm glad that they're keeping it going. Neutral site, I think that's great. I mean, it's not really that neutral. It's in the heart of Seattle, so Huskies have every advantage there. But, I think that's great. But, their Northwestern matchup, it's going to probably rain. I mean, it's that time of the year, so it's going to rain. I would, if I were betting the game, I would take the under. That's just me. I think it's a low-scoring game, and Washington has to execute a lot. Obviously, Northwestern is very sound fundamentally, so it's going to be a tough one for the Huskies. But, I grew up a Husky fan. I always rock with them. I think they'll still win. So take the Huskies in the under. But, man, great show, Tank. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it, man. Obviously next week we're going to react to Caleb's, performance against the Colts, whether that's good or whether that's bad. I honestly think that Caleb, if they can fix some things on offense, like The Colts are not great on offense either. I will say they're struggling. They just lost to a not great Packers team, or not great Jordan Loveless Packers team. They're quarterbacked by Malik Willis last week, who, oh boy. But they could run the ball. But I think this is a game that Caleb can get right. What do you think?
Man, listen, that little Chicago, Indianapolis corridor, I've traveled it many times. It's so familiar. You know, the Bears usually play the Colts in the preseason just because of proximity. So they tend to have a familiarity with each other. But with these two young quarterbacks running the show now, it just seems like anything could happen. And I hope it's Caleb's time to get right. I hope it's his time to, you know, not so much national attention, you know, just a quick 1 o'clock game, get you in, get you out, complete some passes, you know, get a little bit more of a balance, less turnovers. I hope it's the confidence game for Caleb, for real.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you. Absolutely. Well, Tank, we got 91 people in here. That's really the most I've ever had on a live. I appreciate you all watching. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe. We'll be back on Friday with Coach JB for college football preview right here at 5 p.m. Eastern. So go ahead and tune into that. We're going to break down all the games. You already know we're going to talk Colorado. We're going to talk some other games as well. Nebraska takes on Illinois on Friday, so that's going to be a hell of a game and so much more. I cannot wait for it. Thank you all for watching. Tank, thank you so much for joining, brother. I appreciate it. Another great show. Great perspectives from you. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys all on Friday. Peace.
Peace.